In today's video, I'm going to reveal the ultimate weekly workout plan for people over 50 who want to improve their strength, mobility, and fitness, and maybe even add years to their life. My name is Harlow, and I've helped thousands of people over the age of 50 to improve their strength and their fitness, and today I'm going to show you exactly how to do that with my perfect weekly plan. So I created this exercise routine for someone who's smack bang in the middle of my audience, a 65-year-old man or woman who likes exercise but isn't confident in creating their own program. Now, this is definitely not the only way to improve your fitness, but it's my best attempt at giving you the plan you need to get you in shape throughout your entire body. Before I get into it, I just need to make you aware it's not going to be suitable for everyone, so do get checked out before you put it into action. And if any of the information today causes you any pain, then just avoid it. So here are the 4 elements we want to include in our weekly program. I'm going to talk about each element in turn, and then I'm going to show you at the end how to put them all together. The first thing you want to include in your weekly regime is resistance training. Now, there's tons of evidence for resistance training, particularly for people over 50. It quite literally leads to both a longer and a healthier life for all ages. More muscle on your body translates to more health, and more strength translates to more independence. It's one of the best possible things you can do for your health. The other thing to know about resistance training is it's never too late to start. A recent study showed that people who were in their 80s and 90s gained just as much muscle from a 12-week resistance training program as people in their 60s and 70s. So don't think that you're past it, because you can still make great gains in strength and muscle. When it comes to your resistance training, here are 5 principles to help you get started. Every time you do a workout, try to choose somewhere between 5 and 8 exercises each session. For each of those exercises, you're going to start off with 3 sets, working to the point of fatigue each time, not right to failure, but just until you can feel that working ache in the muscle. Between sets, I'd recommend a 1 to 2 minutes rest. No longer than that really is necessary. And then for each set, you want to be choosing somewhere between 10 and 30 reps. A rep is 1 repeat of that exercise. So if you're doing the bicep curl, you would keep going for at least 10. You need to choose a weight that you can do a minimum of 10. But if you can do more than 30 before you hit the point of fatigue, that weight is too light, so you need to make it heavier. Anywhere in this range has been shown to be brilliant for building strength and muscle, and it's perfect for people over 50 because it's very, very low risk of injury. Finally, as you'll see in a moment when we go through the total plan, we want to do probably 3 sessions per week of resistance training as an ideal. If you're just getting started, you could start off with 1 or 2, but 3 seems to be the sweet spot for the best results, whilst still giving you that recovery time in between sessions. So that's the general plan. Let's have a look at some of the best exercises to include in your session. The goblet squat is a great exercise for strengthening your quads and your glutes. The Romanian deadlift is a great exercise for strengthening your hamstrings and your glutes as well. The dumbbell row is a brilliant exercise for strengthening your back, the back of your shoulder and your biceps. And the shoulder press is a super exercise for building your shoulders and the triceps at the back of the arm. The second thing we want to include in our perfect weekly plan is an element of cardio. Now, cardiovascular exercise is anything that elevates your heart rate, and it's a really good thing to do to get your heart rate up every once in a while, as long as it's safe for you to do so. Cardio will improve your heart, it will improve your lungs, and it will also improve your metabolic health as well to help keep you in better shape. Now, your cardio doesn't have to be extreme, but you should take it to the point where you're at least out of breath enough to make it difficult to hold a conversation. Running, cycling, swimming, walking uphill, or brisk walking all count for the purposes of this program. You could also opt to make your cardio fun. Why not take up a new sport like badminton or tennis? Because those things will elevate your heart rate whilst also keeping you engaged, which means you're more likely to stick with it for longer. The third thing we want to include in our perfect plan is walking. Now, walking is such a great exercise for a number of reasons, including improving your general mobility, so how well you can get around, and also your metabolic health. It helps to keep your weight down if you do it regularly. Now, there's some arbitrary numbers like 10,000 steps, which can be a good thing to aim for, but I prefer to tell people to go for a mixture of longer and slower and then shorter and brisker walks. If you don't want to walk briskly, walking uphill is just as good as doing a brisk walk on the flat. Now, these things have been shown to really improve your health without taking up too much of your day. But if you prefer to do longer walks, then by all means do that too, because it really does help your health as well. The fourth thing we want to work on every week is your mobility. Now, contrary to popular belief, you don't need to spend hours and hours every day stretching. Just 10 minutes of targeted mobility work per day is plenty to see an improvement. And your mobility practice will be totally unique to you. It will probably be linked to areas that feel stiff or tight, and that might relate to past injuries or areas that have symptomatic arthritis. All you need to do is practice regularly, little and often throughout the day works really, really well. And here is a snippet from my own personal mobility routine to help give you some ideas. Because I've had bad ankles and stiff hips, I try and work on the Asian squat to improve both my ankle mobility and the flexibility in my hips. Because of stiffness in my mid-back, I often start with a bit of cat-cow to loosen up my thoracic spine. The next thing I tend to work on is a sleeper stretch for my stiff shoulders, where I lie on my side, put my elbow down like this and rotate down, just trying to increase that angle to improve my shoulder internal rotation. And then finally, I'll take my foam roller and do some work on my thoracic extension, which helps to combat all of that time I spend sitting in a chair. So here's how often we want to include each of these elements. For resistance training, I'd recommend 3 times per week. If that's too much for you, start at 1 or 2 and build your way up to 3. 3 is a lovely balance because it gives you time to work all the muscles you need to work, whilst also giving you days off in between for your muscles to recover. For cardio, I would recommend doing at least 2 sessions per week to elevate that heart rate and keep your heart healthy. And for walking, ideally we want to be doing that daily. Now, if I was recommending to the typical person, I'd say aim for 2 long walks and 5 short walks, 1 per day. And then finally, your mobility practice. Ideally, we want this to be daily, but you only have to do 10 minutes. We're not talking hours and hours of stretching. So on your screen right now, you can see how the typical week would look if we broke it down. On Monday, we've got our resistance training session, plus a long walk, plus that 10 minutes of mobility. On Tuesday, we've got a cardio session, ideally somewhere between 20 minutes and an hour, and then a short walk almost to shake off the lactate that you've built up from your cardio. You can also do a mobility practice there as well. Wednesday, we're back to our resistance training, plus a short walk and some mobility practice. Thursday is a semi-day off. You're going to do a long, slow walk, ideally somewhere between 45 minutes and an hour, plus a bit of mobility. Friday, we're back to our resistance training again for the final resistance session of the week. Do a short walk after that and some mobility practice throughout the day. Saturday, we've got our second cardio day. So again, 20 to 60 minutes of cardio, plus a short walk and some mobility. And then Sunday is your day of rest. Now, you can do a short walk on a Sunday as well, just to keep your body mobile, but rest should be the priority on that 7th day of the week. That allows everything to recover in time to go again on Monday.